You hear it a lot of times, men saying women are ruthless. And this might not make sense given that the majority of atrocities throughout history have been and are committed by men. But when we speak about women's ruthlessness, we don't think about it in the extremes. We think about it from a day to day perspective. Things that may seem minor that actually have a huge impact. This is how God or the greater forces that be designed women in order to raise this species. Here is a list of 8 things that make women, in my opinion, in my eyes, ruthless. Enjoy. When a person who is not so attractive shows interest in you, if you're a man, you will usually kindly decline them, maybe entertain some conversation, be a little nice to the person, and then find a way to run away, probably. You don't even want to reject directly, you just want to escape the situation. As a woman, if somebody who's not very attractive, somebody who's actually threatening your whole value perception in the market, you will dunk on them. That's what women do. They will dunk on you if you try to flirt with them. For example, when you get attention or gifts without giving any retribution. See, normally men will maybe feel some sort of embarrassment or maybe they will reject the gift. They'll be like, no, I cannot take this gift. It's too much. Women in general will be way more comfortable with accepting a gift that they know they don't deserve and they have no intention of giving retribution. That's another form of ruthlessness. It's like their morals are cast aside whenever they have some utility or some benefit that they can take advantage of. Speaking of morality, in general, men tend to be led by principles more than women. And you will see across their life, across a lifetime, you will see women readjusting their principles and their moral code whenever it is beneficial or useful to do so. And they will go through some sort of self-delusion or denial process in order to just adopt a new mindset. While men will tend to be more rigid and more driven by their principles, even if these principles lead them to their grave. You will more likely see a man fight or die for honor than a woman. Why? Because women are driven by survival, and that means that they are cunning. They're willing to adapt to whatever situation is needed in order to come out on top. And that's just their ruthlessness. And there is a negative aspect to it, but there's also a positive one. So I applaud them for that. Ganging up on people. Ganging up against a weak element of a group is more prevalent in women than in men. Men will tend to engage in more direct confrontation and go one on one and make it public. And women will tend to do it behind the scenes. So they will resort to covert ways of competing with whoever they feel like is a threat, and they will more easily gang against that threat, really creating imbalanced competition and unfair competition. But who cares about fairness? We're talking about the world of women. It is ruthless. Another example is leading on somebody or friend zoning. Men basically just don't do that. If they're not interested in somebody, they will not keep that other person who's attracted to them around just so they can get some type of benefit from that. Women, on the other hand, will very frequently do that, even though it's very immoral. They are leading them on with no intention of giving them what they need, and they still keep that person around, reaping all the benefits of their friend zone. I find that also particularly ruthless. As a man, that's not something I could do. I would feel, guilty, or I would feel pity for the person who's doing that. And of course, I'm generalizing here. I'm sure there are many women out there that refuse to engage in this type of behavior. But we're looking at the average behavior, at the mean, at the norm. Another way that I think that women are ruthless, and this is quite debatable, but it's regarding hierarchical structures. You see, men organize themselves in more hierarchical ways than women, but we will interchange our leadership. Meanwhile, women will organize themselves in more flat organizations, but whenever they have to fit in a hierarchical structure, they will tend to enforce these. They will not want to see changes. So if they see somebody who is not fit to lead take the leadership, they will quickly put that person down and say, get away from the head of the pack, let it be led by somebody who is useful. So they will ensure those hierarchical structures remain in place. And that's just another way that they are ruthless. And if you are weak, you are weak. Speaking about weakness, women tend to seek weakness. They are subconsciously focusing on what weaknesses do you have and how those can be a threat to the stability of their lives or their environment. Meanwhile, men, what we do on each other is we seek each other's strengths. It's just natural. It's not something that we do consciously, but it's the reason why we, for example, love heroes and we look up to them. And it's something fascinating because women don't engage in this type of idol worship the same way that we do. You can even think about this from a perspective of a male, that you will be in a certain group of, I don't know, 10 males, and every one of you will try to support each other in whatever that you're strong at. But not women. Women will constantly be aware of what your weaknesses are. And this is something that is happening behind the scenes. They can't really control it. But it is, again, in a different way, ruthless. And lastly, another way that women are ruthless is they are passing judgment, right? They're doing it on themselves a lot. They are doing on others. And men, we're not passing so much judgment to each other. Even though we tend to live by a more strict moral code, it's funny how we will have an inclination to let others live life the way they want. Women, however, will tend to pass judgment more than others. And this judgment helps maintain a social cohesion and define what's right and wrong. It is an important part of our society. Again, I think it's ruthless. So that's it. That's the end of the video. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for staying to the end. If you did so, smash the like button, subscribe, and please comment. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.